Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
This is what I'm talking about. Yes. Welcome to Bar Talk with Jay. Another fabulous show brought to you by what? Disposal Service. This is a garbage service that takes the place of R&B. This is something that I was working real hard to make change, and the change is happening. It's on the trucks already, and it's already a great quality of service, because that's one thing that stayed the same.
Yes, sir.
The name changed, quality of service stayed the same. Why? Because that's something I want to bring to you. So give us a chance to make things happen for you. By going on my website, you'll be able to see it's under R&B on my website. We're about to change that too.
Okay.
Working on a better quality website, but we're getting there. Ain't quite there yet, but we're going to get there just with you. That's right, and that's one of the things that we can do over here at Bar Talk with Jay. And who I got next to me in the building, that's right, Craftmatic in the building.
In full force, man.
What's
In full
up,
force,
big
man.
baby?
Excited to be here tonight. This is a great show, man, and this is like my life's passion.
Mhm.
If you folks never found your life's passion, man, I have found mine, and to find it is it's like working for fun. You know, like working for fun, and you'll see we have a lot of fun here on Bar Talk with Jay.
Yes, we
So,
do.
how you doing tonight, Smooth Jay?
Man, let me tell you, man, I'm crazy day at work trying to make things happen. You know, I'm going to start doing some live while I'm out there, man. Show some
You
people
should do
how I
that,
be
man.
running around and what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, because they see the talk radio show, but it's a lot more things that we do here, because, again, we're dynamic. It's just not one area that we cover. We cover
Right.
multiple. But, again, that's my hustle. So the bottom line is I am doing great.
I'd love to hear that, man. I'd love to
Crazy
hear
day,
that.
but I'm great, man. I'm telling you, man, it's more mental now than physical.
It's all mental. See,
Man,
that's the key.
I used to be out there physically busting my butt.
That's the key.
Where I got up in here tired in the mud. Now I come up in here, I be kind of right, but my mind be like exhausted.
Yes.
It's a different change, but I think it's a good change, man.
Yes, it is. It's good.
I'm embracing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's just we welcome you folks to a Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome all
And this is our opportunity. Again, my name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay.
I'll let you
And
go. I'll
this
let
is
you
just
go.
our opportunity, hopefully, to liberate your minds and your souls into a better life. And so what we do is we have these dynamic conversations, and out of these conversations comes therapy for all of us.
That's right, that's right.
We get to discover who we are. We get to discover how we'll handle certain situations, what we have done, what we need to do better. It's just really an opportunity to look at yourself and sometimes even the world and see what's really going on. And so we hope you have a great time with us tonight. We know we got a great show lined up for you. And we always start the night off with a prayer. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off. Are you ready, Smooth Jay?
Hey,
Want me to do
you know
that?
something, man? You've been dropping it like it's hot. So again, for all y'all that love the prayers, one of the things we want you to do is definitely listen to what he's saying, because he can uplift you.
Yeah.
That's what he do so well. This is my boy. When you get to know Craft, you will call him on your own, because I'm telling you, he's just a motivating guy that you just like to have in your corner.
Yeah.
Give it to him, big
And
baby.
listen, I'm always going to be here for you. But when you learn how to speak that word,
Mhm.
you liberate your own life.
Woo! Say it
You know what I'm
again. Do
saying?
your own homework.
And this is how we do it. So, Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for being who you are and your awesome presence in our lives. We know that every way that has been made by you. And we are filled with gratitude and humbleness tonight in your presence. We thank you for this wonderful audience that has joined us, and we ask that you would liberate our minds and our souls through this dialogue. We ask that you would bring a new idea, a new quality of idea. Give us a new action and a new direction and a new understanding through this message that comes through this show tonight. And so liberate us as show host and allow us to do your good and perfect work. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen, amen, amen.
All right.
Man,
All right.
It's so crazy. I'm still getting people texting me talking about you on right now. You must have got your Facebook on. You ain't got your Meet Me on. You
Right.
ain't got Periscope on.
All right.
My Instagram. Come on now, really?
Right.
I mean, I can't do everything by my phone. I
they
even got a
looking-
phone app out there. Come on.
They're looking for you, Jay?
They ain't looking for me, but yeah, I'm easy to find.
Yeah.
I told you, man, I'm gonna be on Let Go, Black Planet. I'm trying to find a Craigslist. I don't be caring. You know what I'm saying? They be tripping.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm telling you.
Where to find you? It's easy to find.
I love your marketing spirit, man.
Man,
So,
if they
listen,
really want to come to my house, how about it?
Listen, let's kick this show off by talking about last week's topic.
Give it to me.
Last week, we really nailed the big one. The title was, how can we heal our minds, bodies, and souls if we are addicted to what makes us sick?
Number one thing, I always say that you got to recognize your sickness. You got to recognize where you at.
That's the key.
And without that, you will probably continue doing. We're a creature of habits. We normally repeat. So again, if you recognize an issue and then you're able to find ways to, and again, people bringing change to your life.
Right.
A lot of times you don't recognize it.
Right.
So a lot of times when I say recognize, if you're knee deep in it, it's like what you say, you got to step away.
Yeah.
Because you don't always recognize the problem, especially when it's you.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I think that is the foundation of fixing your life. That is like the essence, it is the beginning, it is the alpha of fixing yourself and your life. Because all of us, let's just assume that all of us are, right at the 50% line. We're even keeled, life is going pretty well, we don't have no problems, we don't have no issues, everything's good. Some things are way up, some things are just middle of the road. But then there's going to be a time where something falls off.
Right.
And what's important is that you realize that when something falls off, you got to call a spade a spade.
That's true.
You say, you know what, something has fallen off. And in the midst of recognizing that something has changed, something has diminished, you're not achieving what you used to achieve, or you're feeling more tired, or you need to, ends aren't coming together. It's time to take a personal look at myself.
All right.
Right? Recognizing the problem. See, we're talking about how can we deal with minds and bodies and soul. How can we heal minds, bodies, and souls if we are addicted to what makes us sick? Sometimes, and most of the time, you're addicted to something that nobody knows about. Mm-hmm. And you have fallen off, and nobody can bring you back up. Only you can bring you back up.
That's right.
And so you now got to take a self-assessment and say, hey, I have fallen off in this area. Right? It can be if you're just getting a little too much gut around the waist, all the way to, how your bank account looks. It could be how you typically carry yourself through a normal week in terms of your hygiene, and whether you shave or keep your hair tight or keep your clothes, you wearing something fly every day, or you just messing around and got on sweats and all that all week, and you're not taking care of yourself. And you got to recognize when you fall off. Now, the second half of that, recognize the problem, was the first major point. The second major point from that discussion was, what are we addicted to? And we're addicted to so many things. Some folks are addicted to negative thinking. Obviously, weed and drugs and alcohol and sex. Some people have baller attitudes. They're addicted to baller attitudes, and so they blow their money on fly things and things that'll never make a difference in their life, and they wonder why they can't get ahead because they're wearing the $10,000 watch, but they ain't got but $3,000 or $100 in their bank account, right? So that's an addiction that's making us sick. That's an addiction to an attitude that is not profiting you. And it's important that you recognize, you got to wake up from it. People are addicted to strip clubs and porn and TV and food and sweets. People are addicted to attention. We know that a lot of folks who participate in the strip club programs, they need attention, right? And there's a few of them who know who they are and that they want to be there, but there's some of them who are reaching for attention. And in many areas of life, people are addicted to money and to being right. People are sometimes addicted to self-sabotage. I know people who seem to like rejection, seem to like rejection.
Deal with rejection because I got to deal with things on a day-to-day,
right,
but I sure don't want that all the time.
Yeah, but there's some people who just, if you reject me, that's the attention that I need to, upset the environment or whatever.
Yeah.
It's doesn't make sense,
no,
but
it's not.
It's a real thing going on in the world. People are addicted to lying, gossip,
so sad.
Starting trouble. It's a show about waking up, man. It's a show about finding yourself. It's called self-actualization and self-realization. And I think Jay and I did a fabulous job of, deliberating on the subject. And it really brought out some things for me. When I went back and listened to the show, and I thought you and I did a fairly good job.
I'm glad you said that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but when I went back and listened to it, my mind, changed on some issues and some subjects. I found myself in a few places just by listening to it. So we invite you folks to go back, check it out. It was a great show. We're all over the internet, bartalkwithjay.com first and foremost. You can go to YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, iTunes. Where else am I missing it?
Man, what you talking about? Keep on going. Black Planet, Let Go.
Yeah, I let Jay do all that. I can't handle all that.
Man,
right
we try to hit every platform. One of the things I want to say is definitely if you go to my page, Jeremiah Harkenberg page, and if you give a question or if you got anything about the show, we're going to try to read it off and definitely get your answers. We'll get your questions answered.
Okay.
Again, I can't say the same thing when it comes to some of the other ones. Meet Me and Periscope. It's going to be hard for us to do that. But I really want y'all to be able to watch and see what we can do to impact your life. Because the number one thing is about us trying to find you a way to look at your problems in a different way. The number one person that can solve anything that's going on in your life will be you first. And I want to make sure we put the emphasis on your power and get you to see it in a way that you can accept it instead of somebody telling you what to do and then all of a sudden you blame them when you have to take responsibility. It is your life.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Jay. Let's move on to the quote for the week.
What we got?
Miss Barbara obviously couldn't be here, but she always puts together our program and does a fantastic job. Shouts out.
Macon, Georgia.
In the house. And so it goes like this.
What we got?
The secrets to a long-lasting relationship is two people working, standing, wanting, being together, and seeing the future together. With the one law of never making the one you love feel alone, especially if you're there.
Wow. I mean,
Gotta choke you up a little bit, right?
She kind of summed a whole lot of stuff up.
Yeah, man.
All right, show over.
Yeah. You know what I see in this passage here, the secrets to a long-lasting relationship is two people working, standing, wanting, being together, and seeing the future together. That is togetherness.
It is.
Right? And I don't remember too many conversations I ever had about togetherness and about unity and about harmony in a relationship. That's what makes these conversations so therapeutic, is that we really don't entertain ideas of togetherness and unity. But that long-lasting relationship between two people doesn't necessarily have to be a husband and a wife.
That's correct.
It could be a mother and a son and a mother and a daughter. It could be a cousin or uncle, standing, wanting, being together, and seeing the future together. And that's called being a family. And there's something to say for that. There's something to be said for that kind of long-term relationship as well. Ultimately, I think the message that comes out of this for me is try a little harder. So if you're not standing on unity and you're not standing on wanting together and being together and seeing the future together, somebody needs to step up to the plate a little more. Somebody needs to try a little harder. And it really is on both people to do so, but we just don't, we really don't have much coaching and development in our lives to help us make those steps on a daily basis. Sometimes there's a coworker who, there was some bad blood, or something didn't go right, and we just let that stuff just kind of simmer and just kind of fade away, and it never really fades away. It's always still in our gut, in our hearts about what happened and who said what. But sometimes it's okay to go to that person and say, hey, you know what? I take ownership of my portion in that. I don't want us to be at odds no more. Let's focus on togetherness. Maybe we have lunch together, go out for a drink sometime next week, and work on some project together. Whatever. That we in our world we have to focus more on togetherness. And so that was a great quote, man. That was a great quote. Let me just cover a real quick Craftmatic segment.
That's my man.
For a couple of minutes. And I don't want to get too deep with this, and I didn't really have time to research this message, but I know what to say on it. I know how I feel about it. So it goes like this. What does the preacher of Ecclesiastes say, or why does the preacher of Ecclesiastes say, increase sorrow, and why? So the preacher is suggesting that you should increase your sorrows. That's pretty powerful, right?
It's pretty powerful because,
Never heard of such a thing, right?
Or not my sorrow.
Yeah. Paul mentioned it on several occasions when he spoke to the various churches. And what he was suggesting was that in essence, the way I perceive it is that we are not here to have fun. That's a big one for some people to swallow. This world is not about you having fun and having a glorious time galloping across the land. This world is about getting work done and being somebody, being your greatest potential. It's about making things happen in your life to better your life. It's about learning the hard lessons. And you're not going to learn the hard lessons unless you go through something. And God is always taking you through something so you can learn the lessons to get to the blessings that he have established for you.
Keep preaching.
Right? So Ecclesiastes says, increase your sorrows. That it's not about a gleeful world. It's about what can you get done in this world. All that glee should be used for helping the homeless and those who are less able to take care of themselves. It should be about focusing on the cures of all of these diseases, etc. It should be focused on minimizing war in the world and bringing more harmony in the world. That get rid of that laid back, high line, high glide, happy, joyful life and go and do something. Put yourself to work in this world so that you can accomplish something and be what God wants you to be. When God created the acorn, he made the oak tree. And the acorn in you needs to be an oak tree. But if you're lollygagging around being grass and being shrubs, you're never going to be the tree that he wants you to be. Increase your sorrows, increase your work, increase your pain, increase your struggle, increase your life in a way that's going to bring joy to the Almighty God. See, he is strengthened in our downturns. He is strengthened in our weakness. And so the weaker we can be, when we can force feed ourselves into hard things in life, it'll give him the opportunity to reveal more of the love and intelligence and blessing and prosperity and resources and goodness and all the good things in this universe. It does not come. It won't come out of just sitting on the sideline. It'll come out of a struggle. God's work always is delivered out of a struggle. Wow. I'll leave it at that.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I can't say anything different than what you gave it.
Wow.
One of the things I would say, my perception to anybody else would be, look at your sorrows and also understand a lot of times you celebrate your successes. And that's all the thing you want to remember, all these successes, but you got to look at your failures. Yeah. You're not always doing things correctly, and if you look at these things, you can improve yourself. So when I look at the sorrows, I'm looking at things that I wasn't pleased with.
Yes, right? That's
and
right.
It's going to be a lot of these days, and that's one of the days I had today. It wasn't my best day, but one of the things I did is I was able to accomplish a lot out of it.
Yeah.
It didn't work how I first planned it.
There you go.
Okay, my first plan did not go as planned. Truck broke down, things happened.
Yeah.
So I had to make some quick decision making by having an alternate plan,
right,
and getting some things fixed, where I can get things back on track,
right,
where I wasn't all that happy with how things broke, but things happened.
Yes.
But I got things to happen to get things back fixed, get things back on track, and come up with a quick plan.
Yeah.
After one plan failed. So I have to look at the sorrows of wow, it didn't happen exactly how we planned it out. But guess what? We got it done.
We got it done. And this another message that comes out of this quickly is that I'm asking you folk who are successful, you folk who have kind of made it over the hurdle of survival, to now begin being hard on yourself. I'm asking you to step up to the plate and do something bigger than just where you are. Do something bigger than you are. Associate yourself with something bigger than you are. Try to create something bigger than just yourself, right? Increase your sorrows. He's saying the reason why, again, is God's glory is magnified through our struggles and through our pains. And if we put ourselves on a struggling path to do something great, the Lord's going to show up because he'll get all the glory, right? He'll get all the glory. Glory is like gasoline.
All right, fuel in my band,
to the Lord,
my
right? It's propulsion power to the Lord, right? We're talking about a spiritual world, not a physical world. You don't need steel and metal to get these things done. This is a spiritual world. So I'll leave it at that. Man, that's such a dynamic word right there, bro. Another side of it, just 2 seconds. We talking about be more humble. Have a little more humility in this life. Keep your mouth shut a little more, right? You might think you ought to say something, but you really shouldn't. you should just sit back sometime and just take it all in, right? Be humble, right? Because the Lord's got it. You don't really need to speak too much. The Lord's got it all under control. So away with that, on to the topic for tonight, and let's go ahead and take our first break. Man, you see I'm fired up tonight.
I see.
Yeah, I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up. My goodness, this is just fabulous stuff, bro. This is fabulous stuff. Okay, here we go. Our topic for tonight. Quite simply put, what is it about relationships that makes it so hard?
Okay.
What is it about relationships that makes it so hard? We want to focus tonight on improving our relationship skills.
Ooh, we gonna have some fun tonight. Yeah, baby. I'm all on this.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time tonight. I'm going to go ahead and start it off with a hot track.
Okay, hit
I'm
him.
loving this track all together. Y'all hope y'all enjoy it. We got Brother Jamal. We got the good Reverend Dr. Jeffrey
Yes,
coming
sir.
on in a few minutes. I need y'all to stay tuned.
Tonight, I'm trying to tell y'all didn't understand. We're gonna try to put some change in the game when it comes to this relationship and try to see if we can put a little fire back into what you got going on. That's gonna be sparking some things. But before we go in hard, which we're gonna do at the 8 o'clock thing, okay? We're gonna change some things up at 8 o'clock because right now I got somebody else on. This person look like him, that's not him. This dude says that he's gonna teach the cornballs how to do some things the right way and add some spice to your life. That's right, but we don't know how his day went, but we'll have to find out. This dude is Jamal. Jamal, how you doing, big baby?
What's happening, fellas? What's going on with you?
Man, listen to me, that deep Darth Vader voice.
Darth Vader
Oh,
voice.
yeah,
Well, you must
what's up,
play
man?
Man, that's how I talk, man.
Trying to sound extra sexy.
Yeah.
Hey, take that bass out of it.
Sound like he's laying down, man.
All right, you got that phone all up on his mouth. I'm like, hey, baby, you know.
If you know me, you know I got some incense around me burning somewhere, so I'm just cool with it.
Okay, that's what's happening. That's what's happening, man. How you feel, bro? How life treating you, man?
Bruh, I'm actually good. I got a picture of my daughter, and she has so much personality. Man, I can't wait till I talk to the cornballs tonight, man, because I got one bomb for them. I mean, it's all they should need for this week's dose of medicine they need in their life. But yeah,
Okay.
my daughter put that smile on my face.
Okay.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. What's the bombshell, man, you got for these cornballs?
Ambition, hustler. Ambition. If you want to know what a woman's Niagara is, ambition. Whatever it is you do, if you show that woman the ambition to do just a little bit more, man, if you at 70 and you show her you trying to get to 9, that ambition is a major aphrodisiac.
Yes.
It ain't your money, your ambition in your character, your ambition in your job, your ambition in your spirituality, whatever it is, as long as you show her ambition, boy, not only can you get away with murder, but you set the groundwork of manhood 101.
Right.
Dude, ambition is the thing that allows you to fail or get her to succeed. That's what part of being a man is. A man is not just succeeding because everything is good right now.
Right.
Manhood is legit failing, knowing that it's okay to fail right now and getting up from that failure.
Right. Right.
No, that's true success.
Man,
That's true success right there.
I love it. Ambition is the word for the night, man. Because, you know, we especially when we talk about relationships, you got to be ambitious about your relationship. You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, even if you're not so ambitious about your job or your spirituality, he was talking about, you know, a real ambition is an aphrodisiac. If you are ambitious about your significant other, you will find that that is a true aphrodisiac. That it will just promote an energy of passion and love and giving and supporting and helping and serving. And can you imagine two people ambitious about one another? right?
That's so nice.
I have a dream.
All right, Mark.
I'm on,
Martin Luther
man.
King, go
I
ahead,
have
All
man.
about the game.
I have a dream. Listen, you know, the old adage is you can never experience anything that you cannot first entertain in your mind. If you don't have a vision of it, it's impossible for you to experience it or move in that direction.
I say manhood is like this. Diamond ain't nothing but coal that's been pressurized. Gold is useless until it gets put through the fire.
Right.
So at the end of the day, until you apply pressure, until you apply that fire, you are nothing. But it's when you apply the pressure and the fire, that's when you are useful. That's when you are prized. That is when you are a treasure. That's why Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron, so shall one man sharpen the countenance of his friend. See, in order to be my friend, you got to have the ambition to grow with me. And if you can't grow with me in a possible direction of improvement, then you can't be a true friend. You are a leech. You are a liability. You are no longer an asset. If you are not an asset in my life, you are a destructive force. And the direction that I'm going is moving forward. So whether I'm being ambitious about a person, whether I'm being ambitious about my career, at the end of the day, you just got to be ambitious.
Yes.
I think I said something right there.
Well, I like that. I like that. I like that because one of the things we mentioned earlier, we talked about the struggle.
Yeah.
And that coal being pressed to make that diamond, you can't forget that pressure.
Yeah.
You know, you the one to help make that diamond, but understand that pressure because it wasn't diamond at first.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we tend to forget. When you just treasuring the diamond, you're talking about the precious jewel that you got at the end. What about the struggle getting it to that point?
Right.
That's what we don't want you to forget.
You know that's why we love these Rocky movies, right?
Why?
That's how we love the Rocky movies and the Creed movies. Not for the boxing scenes. It's for the times when Rocky lose, and then that training montage come up and now he in the meat locker.
Yes.
And now that Creed is out in the desert running and he collapsing.
Yes.
It's a failure.
Yes.
And see the thing, man. Okay, T-game on this one.
Go ahead, bruh.
Man, hold on.
That's good stuff.
A cornball will have you think if you lose your job, woman's just gonna leave you. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there are some women like that. There are. However, cornball, when you man up, when your woman, not a girl, not a female, not a child, not a Tatiana, when your woman sees you lose your job and you fail, and you can get up the very next day, interview after interview after interview, don't get nothing. The very next day, interview after interview after interview, still don't get nothing. And you finally get that job. That woman that will see your ambition will be the same woman that iron your clothes the night before and say, baby, there go $20 in your pocket. You got something to eat. Go out there and bring it back home. She won't support you. She just got to see your ambition, that drive.
Right.
Your black queen, your Nubian queen, your sister with the dreads, that sister that all those light-skinned cornball niggas are passed on because they didn't think she was white enough. Listen, you get you a sister like that to see your ambition.
Right.
Right. And you can build an empire together because she won't allow you to fail.
Yes. And listen.
Because she sees what you are, she's not going to let you go backwards.
Yeah.
My bad, Blair.
No, you good. We were talking about, he's talking about applying the pressure. That is the ambition. Right? That is going hard. Remember the last segment we talked about, the preacher in Ecclesiastes says, increase your sorrows. That's what Rocky did. He increased his sorrows. He applied the pressure. That's what Creed did. They applied the pressure. They didn't lose and run from the fight. They applied the pressure, right? And there's so many awesome points you're making tonight, my brother. I love that one, iron sharpens iron, because that is a part of applying a pressure in a relationship. That you know, if you know that you just don't let somebody fall short, you tighten them up. You say something to them. You bring some form of correction. Now, if you got somebody who's not willing to listen to correction, who not willing to listen to your heed, then you really have nothing. You really don't.
Here's what I love about what you just said, and you know what I never thought about, but like this, but when you said it, it just clicked. You see, you got to increase your sorrow.
Yes.
Men, we don't cry over things we don't care about.
Right.
So for something to cause us sorrow, that means we got to put our all into it.
Yes.
Wait
Yes.
a minute. Okay, hold on. Peep
Yes.
game with me. Peep game with me.
Yes.
When God created Adam and Eve, He put Eve in the garden to take care of this thing.
Right.
The first thing that God did with Adam is He gave him responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
God gave your initial thing is your responsibility.
Yes.
Hers is to tenderize stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We out here in the field, and we got to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And when we fall short, because you are meant to fall short,
Right.
that is what part of being a man is. That is when that old head will tell you, it's okay, you got your ass whooped tonight. You know you better be at work still and not in the morning. So you got to take them losses and get back up.
Right. You gotta take
You
them losses.
got to increase your sorrows. That means you got to go all in. So if you wonder why your relationship ain't increasing in value, it's because you might not increase its worth, its sorrow, its effort, its love. Did you put the work in it that when you lose the Final Four game watching Duke against Michigan State with the last 7 seconds, did you put your sorrow into it?
Right.
Did you put your my bad.
Woo.
I had a flashback from last week and I cried.
I hear.
That's
I
all right.
hear.
That's all right. Listen, the message that you are delivering is Nobel Peace Prize status, my friend.
You're doing it tonight, baby.
Nobel Peace Prize status. What a powerful message, man. Listen, I want to ask you about the subject. We could go probably for another 20 minutes on this particular topic, but the subject for tonight is, what is it about relationships? And this mingles so good. What is it about relationships that makes it so hard?
Communication.
Mm. Mm.
The biggest arguments are majorly caused by miscommunication and finance.
Okay.
When one person is excelling in a relationship financially and opposed to the other, you'll start to notice the difference to speaking with someone or talking to someone or talking at someone.
Right.
That's when the insecurities come into play and now all type of other issues and now open that door. So financial issues could be a major problem.
Mhm.
So communication. The ability, it's amazing how women will say something and men will give us very specific response and women will hear something completely different.
They'll hear something completely different than what you
She
say.
says, we going out on Saturday. You said, okay. All of a sudden, in her mind, Saturday meant Saturday all day. Wait a minute. Wait, I said, yeah, the Saturday, I like to go out. I didn't mean we were spending the whole day together. When did I say I was spending the whole day with you? See, I said one thing, you heard something
else.
completely different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You said, you know I love you. I love you too. Oh, he loved me, girl. Oh, whoa. So, hey. Nah, I didn't I love you. I mean, I love you. You heard something. It's a miscommunication, the simplest thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think that could be the thing that makes a relationship hard. When you lose trust, it's because of miscommunication. Somebody cheating, there's some financial aspect somewhere.
Yeah.
You spending money on another female or you ain't got money to spend on the other female. So it's mistrust and financial and miscommunication.
Okay.
That's my thing.
Okay. We love it, man. We love it. You have brought something very dear to the table tonight through your dialogue, man, and we appreciate it. Would you like to share anything with us before we part tonight?
Man, let me tell you, I saw a picture of my daughter, and she's growing up into such a beautiful young woman.
Yes.
And going back to school, it's such a big thing because my daughter's going to see me walk across the stage with my degree. I am determined to that.
Yeah.
Because I want to make that girl proud.
Yes.
No matter what I do or anything else in the day just to get by, I want to make that girl proud because the way she looks at me as Superman, I want to keep that image.
Right.
So fellas, if you got one out there, something different about raising your son versus raising a daughter. I don't know what it is. It's not fair. It's a double standard, whatever. But if you got your little girl, do something for her this weekend and just be her Superman.
That's right.
I like that, man. I like that. Just be her Superman. Man, you just inspired me, bruh. Cause you know, I always got half a dozen things on my mind that I can do for my baby girl. You know, and I will get one of those done this weekend. Thank you so much, bruh. Thank you so much.
Man.
That's iron sharpening iron, and you see, I immediately took ownership of it.
I
know?
see that.
I'm just reflecting, you know, on the right now.
But that makes you better. That makes you
better.
go back to that sorrow.
That's right.
When you know I did all these other things right, but there's one more thing I need to do.
Yeah.
That means back to your work.
I'm being hard on myself.
You gotta be,
I'm being tough
stay
on
hard
myself.
in the paint.
You
Baby.
gotta be tough on yourself, right? All the greats are tough on themselves. I promise you. They beat themselves up sometimes, oftentimes too much, but they keep grinding through it. They keep grinding through it, and that's
Ain't
what's
quit.
important. So, thank you, Brother Jamal. We'll look forward to hearing your commentary next week, my
That's
friend.
right, that's right.
All right, man, we out.
All right,
Hold it
we out.
down, hold it down.
All right, folks, we are ready to take another break,
What you got for us
and
this
we
time?
hope you're loving the show so far. What powerful dialogue do we have here, man?
Come on.
I mean, this is just
Every
amazing
week, Craig.
stuff every
Every
single
week,
week,
baby.
Yeah. And so I'm playing another smooth track. We'll be right back with more Bar Talk with Jay.
We back, Bar Talk with Jay with the smooth sounds that my man Craftmatic does so well. That's right, on the wheels of steel. So if y'all need a party jumped off and y'all need somebody to do some serious making it happen, this is what we do at Bar Talk with Jay. Not just at the bar, we do it at your crib. We do it wherever it might be. Weddings, we do it all.
We do
Bar
all.
Talk with Jay, one of the things we like to do is make sure you have fun. That's what we do. Enjoy. So,
Right.
I don't know how this person's day went. And if y'all don't know who's up next, I'm about to tell y'all right now. If he had a bad day, you about to slap the taste out your mouth.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. My man Jeffrey is up next. Jeffrey, how you doing, big baby?
Brother Jay, Brother Kraft, how you doing, fellas?
Man, we doing all right. We want to know how your day went,
Yeah, we're
player.
doing good over here, man. Always glad to hear your voice. We hanging in there, bro. Everything's lovely. How's your week going, man?
Man, I tell you what, it's been a pretty good week. The pollen count is what it is. The temperature is rising. The shorts are getting shorter, and the skirts are getting shorter, and
Right.
we're loving what's happening. But in spite of all of that, you know what time it is.
Sir, here we go.
It's time for you to close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions, I give you some answers from a man's point of view. Now, I got one reason for the habitually single woman and one reason for the habitually single man as to why you might be single. But before we get to all of that, here is my disclaimer.
Okay.
Now, see, what I'm going to talk about may not apply to you, and if it does apply to you, I don't want you to put your foot up in this shoe. But if it does apply to you, I don't want you to put, but if it does apply to you, I want you to put both shoes and walk around in them, because you're about to learn something tonight. Lady, you go first.
All right.
Oh my goodness, ladies, some of y'all are single simply because you are spoiled as hell. I mean, everything got to go your way. I mean, everything got to work in your favor. And when it don't work in your favor and it don't go your way, well, you pout. And you pitch a little fit. And you try to sit there and manipulate things to get what it is that you want. No, that's not how it works, ladies. See, what I need you to understand, ladies, is that sour milk still looks good until you taste it. I also need you to recognize there are virtually no foods that once they spoil are good for you. None of them. So what makes you think if we don't want sour milk and we won't eat spoiled food that we don't eat your spoiled ass? Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen, lady. You have to recognize that, yes, we understand you want your way. Yes, we know you like nice things and things to, to lean towards you, but you were not the sum total of the relationship. We are. If you ain't focused on that mutual spoiling, well, your spoiled ass is just gonna be sick.
For a mighty long time. Wow. Yeah, I ran a couple cups of spoiled in my time.
Yeah, I have too.
Yeah, you can smell spoiled milk. I'm tell you right now.
Yeah.
They start acting real fire, boy. Stinking up by everything.
Yeah.
Gotta get rid of that crap.
Yeah,
It ain't good.
You don't really have to get close to a spoiled person to know that they're spoiled. You can just kind of see how they
They shut it.
deal with things and handle some of their ways. non-flexible and gotta have it the way they like it. And,
One way.
Yeah, we get that. Listen, that just doesn't work in any environment, right?
And there's
But most importantly, a man just ain't trying to have a spoiled woman. You know what I mean? He wants to be appreciated in what he gives. He wants to be honored and taken at the value that he intends. And when you comparing one gift to another, what somebody else done for you, or something, all that other stuff, it just shows a lack of appreciation for the present moment. So I hear you loud and clear, Brother Jeffrey. We'll leave it back to you, sir.
All right, fellas, don't think I'm letting y'all off the hook. Fellas, you are next.
Uh-oh.
Now, brother, some of you are single simply because you don't know what protection means. So you think to protect a woman is to protect her only because she's soft, she's the weaker sex, or, she's vulnerable and susceptible to harm. And even though these things can be true, the truth is deeper than just that. So you got to recognize that your woman is to be protected because she's more valuable than gold, and she's more precious than rubies and diamonds, and it's an honor to be able to protect her. You protect her because of the value that she has. You got to understand, protecting the woman protects our posterity. It protects our future. Protecting your woman is to protect the lifeblood, the life-carrying essence of our community. But see, brothers, you would rather protect your Jordan, to protect your ride, more than you will protect your woman. And you don't recognize the value of a woman because you think you only need to protect her because she's soft and she's the fairer sex. So until you actually recognize that you're protecting a woman because she is valuable, she's the most valuable resource you will ever have in your entire life, outside of time. Unless you are protecting her on that level, well, she's going to recognize that you ain't protecting her worth a damn. And she's going to leave your ass single.
again for a mighty long time.
That's exactly right, bro. Men who don't know what protection means, I think, is a result of not being protected. Men that have not been protected. You oftentimes don't know, and I'm making up no excuse here. Now I'm just opening the doorway for what may be the problem. But protection looks like taking care of her heart. It's not always just about paying the rent, getting the bills paid. It's about taking care of her heart, taking care of her mind. It's about paying her attention. It's about making sure she's comfortable. And sometimes even comfortable with what you do or might not be doing. It's about working toward nurturing your most valuable asset. And that means paying our women some attention, especially for those who've been married, either for a short time or for a long time. Sometimes those relationships can get so mundane. And from the outside looking in, I can see that, it looks like it might be quite boring. And it also looks like sometimes that those two are not taking care of one another. Those two are not valuing each other as their most valuable asset. But if you don't, then somebody feels depleted and lacking security, lacking nourishment, lacking protection, and that's when they leave your ass single.
And I'm gonna tell you, one of the saddest things I see is like on Facebook. You quick to put it on Facebook, but you ain't quick to protect somebody else. It don't got to be your mom,
right,
that you got to protect. I believe we have queens out there in this world.
Yes, Jay.
And again, we're looking at our own, but there's other women that's not in a relationship with you that still need protection too.
Yes, yes.
As a dominant man, I already know if something is to happen, before I grab my phone, just record it, if I can make it go viral, maybe I need to step in to make sure she's gonna be okay.
Right.
I'm not gonna watch somebody just knock the heck out of somebody for I can say, ooh wee, world star. I'm not worried about world star.
Great point.
I'm not trying to be famous because somebody got knocked out. You knocked one of our queens out, and then you expect me to sit back and say, oh, that just happened.
Yeah.
No. It's time for us to step up. Believe me, we've seen too much.
Mm-hmm.
There's people dying now that's heroes, mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to make sure they don't die in vain.
Yes.
But to keep watching it on TV and thinking it's okay, They got you fooled. I really say it's time to stand up. These women are tired of men not standing up and protecting them.
Yes.
And it's time for us to do something different.
Yes.
Something different don't mean just watching, it's doing.
Right.
Don't just do for yours at home.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, great place to start.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't want her to leave you behind.
Yeah.
But also remember the other ones out there that might not have somebody in their corner. Let's have each other's back.
There you go.
Let's make
There
the
you go.
change.
There should be an organization, and there probably are, just for community having each other's back. You know what I mean? And every week you come together and we'll find something to do in the community or something to do for Miss, Laverne around the corner who need her
Come on,
yard
now.
taken care of, and she might need a ride to the bank every Thursday, and get some groceries. There's just ways to protect our communities and our women. And I love the message you promoting here, Brother Jeffrey. I'll turn it back over to you, my friend.
Right. Now, listen, I need everybody to understand me and hear me real closely. Ain't no more excuses. There has to be a shift in our focus from the problem to the solution. We got to change our own way of thinking. The paradigm has to change because what happens inevitably, we spend way too much time focused on the problem. Now, don't get it twisted. I recognize that there are some things that are set up institutionally that are designed against us. And don't get it twisted. I know the history of this country. I know how many actual items or atrocities they've committed against our communities that makes it real easy for us to believe conspiracies because we've been the recipient of the reality of that stuff.
Yes.
The bottom line of it is, though, our focus has to be on solution building and bridge building within our community. We ain't reaching out to nobody outside our community anymore. We're reaching within our community to build up our community. We're not asking nobody to come in our communities to help us. We're going to build it ourselves. Now, what you're not going to do, though, is you're not going to prevent us from getting the same type of treatment that other communities have gotten. Those types of block grants that go into certain communities, you're going to build some block grants in our communities. Not when people start to move in, but while we are living there.
Right.
We're going to hold our politicians accountable. If you look like us and you run for office and you get votes from us, you are going to pay us back. We expect a return on our investment. And that happens when we shift our focus from the problem to the solution.
Yes.
Because when we start dealing in solutions, men and women start talking to each other.
Yes.
And when we start talking to each other, we get in better relationships and marriages. And when we get married and have better relationships, our children grow up in a better household. And when they grow up in a better household, they can go forward and build on the blessings that we have laid in place for them. And that's all I got.
And that's all we need, my friend.
Okay.
That is a lot. And, every time I hear those messages from you, what I think about is the people who need to be hearing that message the most. And those people are our leaders, right? Can you imagine a city councilman or a senator or a congressman who's looking at a bill tomorrow? Think about, solutions for building our world and doing the right thing in the midst of that, not voting on the money side, but voting on what is right side, right? Because there's no more excuses. Like you said, let's focus on the problem. Can you imagine the leaders who are about to vote on those bills or put those new opportunities into play for our world hearing that message? That's where it makes the greatest impact. But we all, even us as everyday citizens of this world, we have to be focused on solutions, even in our own communities. And that can mean so many different things to so many different people. But if you focus on solutions, we're all arriving at a greater good, a greater truth. There's just so many areas to focus on too. From our kids to our education, to our employment status, to what the streets look like, to what we do with the homeless and the sick, to it's just so many places here. We can't allow our world to be diminished anymore because we're making excuses for not doing something.
I agree.
That's what Jeffrey's saying. It's time to do something, my friend, with your life. And so, Brother Jeffrey, we're I just get a real good feeling, man, about what you deliver here every week. And I just really want to thank you again and just share our appreciation for your messages and you being a part of this team and this show. It means a lot to us, my brother.
Yes, it does.
Man, always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Listen, I got 1 minute, maybe 1.5 to 2 minutes for you.
We're getting to.
Tonight's topic is simply, what is it about relationships that makes it so hard?
Man, I tell you, that's easy. You got people that get into relationships and they want to keep their single mindset. For some reason, you think that you can still do everything all about you while you're in a relationship. Ladies don't want to give up nothing, my way or the highway, and I don't need you, I can just get another man type of deal. And then the men, what we do sometimes is we just don't want to fully commit. We want to put a foot in the water, and we want to dip off in that melon patch in that secret garden, but we don't want to put our heart and souls in it because we're scared. The bottom line is, what makes relationships so hard is the lack of commitment, because we go into that relationship with that single mindset. And then we wonder why our asses are still single. We're still single because we think like a single person, trying to expect that round peg to fit in that square hole of a relationship. And it just doesn't work that way.
Just won't
Get your
work
mind
that
right
way.
before you get in a relationship. Make sure it's about the we and not about the me, and you'll be all right.
Profound as always.
I love it, Brother Jeffrey. You always bring it home. Listen, thank you so much, man, for who you are and what you do here at the show. And we'll look forward to hearing from you next week.
All right, fellas, y'all take it easy.
All right. And
We gotta go to break on
he
that.
always does it,
Man,
man.
that's what he do.
He always does it so big. So you folks stay tuned. We are
You know, we up
entering.
next. We up
Yeah,
next.
we are entering the second half of the show, and that's what Jay and I really get to go in on the subject. I know you're gonna love it. We got some ideas lined up for you. We'll be right back. We'll talk with Jay.
Welcome back with Bar Talk with Jay. It's
Welcome
time
back.
for us to get back in this bad boy and get into the groove of it. I'm telling you, Jamal did some things tonight, and then Jeffrey came in and put it right in there as well. Now it's time for me and Kraft to have some fun with the topic tonight.
Right.
So again, we started with them. Now it's up to us. Let's go into our thoughts of this battle.
Right. So here's the topic. Here's the topic, folks.
Give it to them.
What is it about relationships that makes it so hard? We really want to focus in on, we want this show to be, again, therapeutic. We want it to be helpful.
Okay.
So what we're really doing is we're talking about improving our relationship skills.
Correct.
Right? So what makes it so hard, Jay?
I'm gonna tell you all day
relationships so
long. This me. I'm personalizing this one.
hard? Okay.
100% personalizing is when your ass ain't ready. You jumping in it because somebody else said it. You feel like you might be ready, and you ain't really analyzed the last relationship that you went through, and you feel like you was never a problem. It was always the other person. So you automatically carrying something into the next one. And I really feel like if you really took your time, you will be a better healed person, and you can add more value. Because again, you gotta understand self-value. And a lot of time we just run into things and we ain't even looking at ourselves. We know we good people. We mean good. But if you got bad habits, you don't tend to stop that right away.
Right.
People might point it out, but you don't care to listen. If you tell me some things and I'm not feeling it, I'm rebuking it, okay? Just because you say it don't mean that's what it is.
Right.
So I'm living in my own fantasy, but I'm reckless and I'm hurting. So sometimes you gotta sit your ass down before you just jump into a relationship because it's convenient. Because I got a lot of people liking me. I got a lot of people who want me. Just because they want you, they don't even know all about you. And when they get you, they find out that ain't what they really want because you come in with a lot of stuff and you contaminate. I really feel like if you sit down, let the good Lord work on you, you will find out that contamination is just a situation. It was something that I just really didn't address, and I see it now, and I feel different about myself. I bring happiness into my own life. Understand where happiness starts. It starts with you. But you're wondering why people around you are unhappy.
Okay, that's because their happiness is going to need to be focused back with them. Get yours right, and then you can contribute to somebody else's. Instead of you looking for somebody to make you happy, look at yourself. Because I promise you, it'll change the game. Because again, you'll look at that person and you already got that sparkle in your eye.
Okay.
It makes the relationship easier.
Okay.
But it's really hard to reach a person that's been scorned or bitter because of somebody else. And I'm trying to repair somebody when you ain't repairing yourself. And then you wondering why you're miserable, trying to make somebody else happy. And you say, well, dang, why am I doing this? If the person is not willing to drink the water or receive what you're giving,
Right.
that's because they may be not ready.
They may be not ready.
And that right there can solve a lot of problems real quick.
Yeah.
Sit back and stop tripping and thinking that's what you need because somebody else is happy. You think their happiness is going to be your happiness. It's a formula. Figure out yours.
Yeah. And so what I heard you say, Jay, is basically that people's relationships are so hard because in reality they probably shouldn't be together.
That's what I said.
Right?
I said it.
In reality, they wasn't ready. They wasn't ready in the first place.
They
so now
wasn't
they brought all
ready.
their baggage into this relationship, and now, it's a
Contaminated.
tangled web we weave. And so, that makes perfect sense. Let's dive a little bit deeper.
Hold on, before we dive deeper, because I want you to go in. I want to bring Buddha. For everybody that don't know who just walked in the building, yes, we got Buddha in the building.
What's
Big
up,
Phil
Buddha?
stepped in. He turned a big fofo. I want to say
Fofo in the
happy
house.
birthday to
Happy
my man. It's
birthday, brother
belated,
Phil.
but I'm gonna tell you, this dude is a great guy. He do some things that I be wondering about his behind, but overall, this one right here can change your whole thought process. You just gotta listen. Are you gonna step up or you gonna stay out? What you gonna do over there, Big Phil?
I come in after the break.
Okay.
Okay, so basically staying out.
Yeah.
Scared.
Is that what it is?
That's what happened.
All
now
these
see
lights
Buddha in the
and
building.
camera, and
That
there
don't-
might be some people listening. He don't want to show us up.
Sound like crap,
Yeah,
Cotton, you out.
listen, what's that old saying? I ain't even supposed to be in here tonight. Okay,
Running
we'll
scared.
let you play your position, Phil. We'll let you play your position, right?
It sound like you just played yourself out.
Yeah. So as we're
You heard what I
diving,
said.
as we're diving deeper into the subject,
do it.
what is it about relationships that makes it so hard?
Mhm.
And oftentimes, obviously it is communication,
Right.
but when a relationship is hard, that means there's somebody not willing to give in a little bit, right?
Resistance.
And hard means that there's friction. You're not coming together, and the reason you're not coming together, oftentimes, I gotta say, attitudes probably got to be the number one thing. Man.
Ooh, you saying some things
I
tonight.
gotta say that because if you have an attitude
Mhm.
and I have an attitude,
Mhm.
it ain't nothing but boiling water, right? But if you have an attitude and I can maintain not having an attitude, we might have hope. But if our whole relationship is based on the hope that I can withstand enough attitude to get us through the relationship, then it's always one-sided, right? If you've ever seen a husband and a wife having an argument, that it's almost like two opposing sides. And each person feels like they feel, but they don't feel like they feel just based on the current event. They feel like they feel based on a series of things that has happened,
Right.
right? He lost his job and he ain't trying to get another one, and the yard always need to be done, and he didn't help me with my project, and when my mama came, he didn't take us to dinner that night, and that all of this stuff is built up and it creates a certain attitude in the relationship. And those are like rocks. Both parties having their rocks just keep crashing into one another, right? So what it comes down to is if we're not going to come together, if somebody's not going to make an adjustment to come together, it really says that we're going nowhere.
Ooh.
Doesn't that what it say?
Well,
We're going nowhere. So the relationship is always going to be hard because I can never see your way. You can never see my way. Nobody's giving in, right? I can never understand your point. You can never understand my point. I'm never say it right. You never do it right. It's always a back and forth, right? And so, what is the hardness of that? I don't feel heard. I don't feel understood. She doesn't care. She always ridicules me, or he always ridicules me. He doesn't do the things he used to do sometimes anymore. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
you snitching.
Right?
You snitching.
I went on down the pathway.
I see
right? It comes down to just being emotionally set apart. So in a relationship, you have these attitudes, you can't seem to come together on these things. The next thing you know, each of you kind of harden into an emotional shell. And now we're stuck in this emotional shell for long periods of time. I can't trust her anymore. I can't trust him anymore. I can't talk to him anymore. I can't talk to her anymore. And so at that point, you both kind of set in your ways. There's two rocks in the field, and they're never going to come together. So somebody's got to do something, and this show is about improving our relationship skills. Somebody's got to give in and say, I'm sorry.
All right.
Is that hard to do? Is to say I'm sorry hard to do?
Well, I don't feel like I'm wrong. It is. I mean, I'm being real because a lot
That's
of times
real.
people don't want to say it. But I have a problem just conceding to give you your way just to make you happy when I know damn well I don't see what you're talking about. I don't feel it. It ain't. But I want to let this go down. And I really find out when more I do that, the more I'm mad at myself. Why am I conceding to give you a false happiness when I know you dead wrong?
Dead ass wrong.
And you coming with your mouth all the time, and I just want some quietness. Because you relentless. You won't stop. You want it your way, but your way does not make sense to me.
Right.
So I
how
want happiness too.
And how do you overcome that, Jay? I mean, what do you do?
I let their ass go. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's rough, but you gonna keep beating me up, and you're gonna take all my positive energy, and you might not even look at it as positive, but I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to do anything to you. But you cannot beat me up and think that works. That's an old mentality that don't work with me.
Right.
It might work with somebody else you dealt with, but understand who you with now.
Right.
Make change and adjust to the one you with. My whole thing is I always give people time.
Right.
All right. I can't expect somebody to accept me overnight.
Right.
It takes time. So when I feel like you're not really getting what I'm saying, I try to say it in a different way, and then I give you time to adjust, because just because I say it don't mean they gotta believe it and just do it.
And just
my whole thing is think about it, do the research on it, because what I'm saying should be factual. You should have something, because a good man should have factual information.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be giving you rhetoric, and you should easily tell a lie, because it can be researched.
Right.
Simple. So my thing is, if I'm gonna help lead and be the head, make sure you understand where you're headed, what you're doing, and it's gonna be opposition. When opposition happens, you don't have to fight it. Sometimes you gotta give it a little bit of time. Because she has a right to feel a certain way about it too, because I don't want to be led astray. Get that. So give her a little time so she can realize you have a good plan. Then she will start backing you. She shouldn't start harassing you. Why are you getting harassed when you got a good plan?
Right.
If she say because I didn't come up with it, that means she's still selfish and stuck on herself.
Mm-hmm.
That means she's always been planning, and she always find ways out, and she ain't looking for you to do nothing for her. She need to be by her damn self. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because when she get by herself long enough, she'll realize it is a duel. That means giving in a little bit to receive some. That means I'm doing things together. No, it's one way. If you just got to have it your way and can't be no other kind of way, that's a good sign to keep your ass by yourself. just helping you out.
Yeah.
Because you ain't gonna accept nothing from nobody. You got nothing but mouth.
See.
And my whole thing is that right there is not always a bad thing because you've been fighting real hard to be where you at. Get it. But it wasn't meant for you to be by yourself. That was a decision that you chose. And when the right one come along, then you gotta understand how to let some things go. And that's difficult. That's
Yes.
why relationships are hard.
Yeah.
Because everybody think it's simple. No, it's really not that simple to me. When I've been fighting real hard to be where I'm at, and I had to do it alone for so long, it takes time. I have to start letting things go,
You gotta
but
let
I gotta
things
make
go.
sure I ain't letting it go for a bad reason.
Right.
Bad on bad ain't good. My
Right.
whole thing is take time. That's why I said time is definitely needed
Yeah.
when you starting to bring a lot of stuff to the table.
Yeah.
Let somebody absorb it and understand it. But again, that's why they say sometimes you gotta let things go. Relationships, you gotta let them go. It's not just because I'm letting it go because I don't care for them. I gotta let them go because it gotta grow. And it could come back together and it might not. But the bottom line, if it's healthy and you didn't do anything really wrong to say it, but you gotta, that person can start respecting you from afar. They might come back, they might not. But it's healthier than fighting up front. Because we in front of each other, we're combative. We shouldn't be fighting.
We shouldn't
We
be
should
fighting.
be loving.
Right.
We ain't loving.
Right.
We too mad at each other because you stubborn, I'm stubborn, and our stubborn behinds ain't getting nowhere.
Right.
But when we get away from each other, we become a little bit stronger because it's respect. I always did respect her.
Yeah.
I just didn't see all the things that she was saying.
Yeah.
And I forgot about all the things she was doing.
Right.
So now I'm thinking about her, and guess what? It's causing a chemical thing in my brain to make me realize I need someone. I need her.
You need her.
When I used to think I didn't need no one. Now I'm sitting back like, you know something? I kind of miss her. But it took time.
Right.
She used to always ask,
Right.
you miss me, I miss you, I love you. She was always affectionate in my ear. Let me know I'm always been important to her. And I was like, you be doing the most. You be doing the most. But I always felt somewhat like that, but not the same.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with not being on the same playing field.
Right.
I'm a man, she's a woman. How she expressed herself, I should be able to express myself. But as long as we have a good understanding, and truthfully, sometimes the understanding takes time. But now I'm able to see her way was a great way. I really appreciate it because I'm thinking about it now.
Right.
At that time, it was like, yo, she's saying this stuff all the time. So do she really mean it? Or does she just love to say it? And she say it all the time. And sometimes I miss it. I miss it when I don't hear it no more.
Mhm.
Because now it's a little distant. I don't hear it. So now it's a little tricky, but
I get
again,
it.
little time. Little time.
I get
People need time.
You mentioned some real powerful things here. Listening is a big one, and a lot of times what makes relationships hard is people are listening to only a portion of what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Or they listen to the first half of the sentence, but they don't really hear the other half. Or they listen to the sentence, but they don't really hear the intention behind the sentence. They're listening for their own protection. They're listening for their own self-preservation. They're listening to what they thought you were trying to say, or what they, and so all now those messages become interfered with. Right? Because you only got half of the question. And sometimes it's not even about the question, it's about why they asked the question. There's something that promoted them to ask that question. And so being combative in the discussions, feeling competitive in the discussions is what makes relationships hard. That you gotta always keep a foundational understanding of who you're talking to and who you're dealing with. It's like if you are preparing to discipline your child, you find a way to talk to the child like it's like a parent. You know what I mean? I'm kind of losing my train of thought here.
No, you grab that belt and you be talking when you be whooping and you be lying. I'm whooping your behind because I love you. No, you whooping that ass.
No.
They made you mad.
Yeah, you whooping because they made them mad, but you love them. And you gotta always know that you love them, and that love first and foremost can ease the challenges in the relationship. Because I love this person. Hey, I know she just trying to hear her get a point heard. I know I know she thinks she's right, but I'm gonna have to soon help her understand that that's not quite the best way to think about it. Or I need her to understand how what she did made me feel. I need to, I need to get through to her on this particular message. And so now I'm not gonna be as defensive when she's saying what she says. Oh, she just said that. She's just trying to hurt my feelings. She ain't really called me an a-hole. She's just trying to hurt my feelings,
No,
right?
she called you a-hole, bro.
Yeah, but listen, here's the thing, that if I stay on my side, I'm like, yeah, she called me an a-hole, now I'm completely out of trying to make connection. I'm trying to go the other way.
No, you
And
got your feelings.
you got in your feelings,
You
but
getting
listen,
mad.
getting in your feelings is what makes the relationship hard.
Yes, it does.
Getting in your feelings is what tears down the relationship sometimes, because you
Talk
come
about it.
back and say something and do something that you cannot take back.
That's
That you
where
end
the
up
problem
regretting.
starts.
So it's all about self-control. It's about self-control. And you get self-control by loving her. No matter what she's saying, you gotta have that mindset. Now, I love her. I love her. I care about this person.
She's so cute.
I know she's trying to hurt my feelings. I know she thinks she's trying to bring me down. I know she's just mad right now. But let me just listen to what she got to say. And you know what? As soon as this argument's over, I'm gonna go buy her favorite dessert. You know what I'm saying? And just tell her, hey, I'm sorry I upset you, baby. You gotta love first. And when you love first, it makes it easier to deal with the things and stuff. But if you're just dealing with the things and stuff without a loving consciousness of this person, you're always going to miss the mark. You're always going to think that they're trying to offend you, or they're being derogatory, or they're being negative, or whatever. Men listen to women.
And women listen to men.
Yeah, listen, and I'm gonna make this point. We got to go to break. Men listen to women for years and say that they're fussing. Man, they love to fuss, and they love to gripe, and they love to just go in on the subject. But what's really happening is they're interested in being heard.
Correct.
And if I, as the husband or the father of my daughter or whatever, listen from that perspective, we're not going to be as emotionally attached to what she says, because we just sit back like, I know she just want to be heard, right? When the balls go off, you be like, we already know that, but the boss just want to be heard right now. Let him go on, fuss and rant and rave, and we're going to get the job done as soon as he finished. Let's just go and get the job done. And see how I take a stronger mentality, a self-control mentality? I'm not attached by what's said to me. I'm standing over and above that, just accepting the conversation as it is, and not as some derogatory thing that's applying pressure to me to be something, to do something, or go in a certain direction. Very powerful stuff.
I hear you, but
Very
I'm going to say
powerful.
one thing about the person that's next to you. She also know how to say things that get to you.
Okay, that's another reason.
You already know.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about sharp
that right
tongues
there.
when we come back. Because sharp tongues make relationships hard. We'll be back right back with more Bar Talk with Jay right after this.
In the building. If y'all don't know what this man about to bring, only thing I can tell you, he got a different way of looking at some things. That's right. That's right. And that's what this show's about. Finding different ways to be able to see where you at, because the best person that can change you is you.
Yeah,
That's
the
what we
only
do.
person that can change you
Is
is
you.
you.
But you might say somebody else did it. Well, let's get that power back to where it need to be. Within you.
Let's just talk about that for a second.
What's that?
At 40,000 feet, right?
Okay.
That the only person that can change you is you. And we find that if we look over our shoulders, people who are 40, 50 years old like myself, I look over my shoulder, and sometimes I find that I was working against life.
Okay.
Sometimes I realize that, hey, I was going the wrong direction. I was thinking the wrong way. I didn't make the decision soon enough. I just find myself looking over my shoulder like I just wasted some time. I spun my wheels for a little bit. And in every single one of those, when I came out of those situations,
Right.
it was me that changed me.
Hmm?
Right? And it would, when I say that, I'm saying that I gotta recognize my faults.
Correct.
Right? what makes relationships so hard is that we don't recognize our own fault in the situation sometimes, right? And to change yourself and to be humble, to have some humility, to take ownership of a situation is required to have a long-term relationship. It is a necessity to have a long-term relationship. Now, here's what I think we deal with. That is what Jay said. I know what I'm saying to you is accurate, it's right, it's real. It's not to hurt you, it's not to tear you down. What I'm saying to you is for your betterment, right? What I'm saying to you is I'm trying to get through to you, but you are not hearing me. You are not willing to receive the message from me. You might hear it from, an Oprah Winfrey show, or you might hear it from the co-worker, or you might read it in a book or see it in an article, but you ain't trying to hear it from me. That makes a relationship so hard when you don't have reverence or respect enough for the person who's talking to you to ever listen to anything that they're saying to you. You can't be a man or perhaps a woman in your relationship and share meaningful advice with your significant other, and they always just push it off like it doesn't mean anything. Now you feel like you're less valuable. Like you feel like your opinion is less appreciated. And even if they don't agree with it, sometimes they can make your opinions sound like they're just the worst thing in the world, and all you're trying to do is help and support and love and whatever. Maybe that part of that iron sharpens iron scenario, right? I'm just trying to bring a little sharing with you so you'll understand how you look to the world, right? It's difficult to get those messages through to people who are just absolutely closed-minded.
I agree, but I'll tell you what I have my biggest problem is dealing with that, but how they come back at me with that tongue.
That tongue.
Now, one of the things I'm going to mention about the tongue is even I have a habit, and I have to watch it, because if I get in my feelings, I can let words roll off that can be very detrimental and cut through the strongest rock. You want to look at your strength, but you understand your power in your tongue.
Yeah.
Because you also know how to cut a person completely down. And I've done it many times when I got totally angry or I was even drinking and you came at me in an aggressive way and I'm going to meet you and it ain't always with the aggression that you think. I don't always got to raise up to show you that I can overpower you. I use my words. Because one of the things about my words, I understand you, and I've been hearing you for the longest.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've been listening to, I'm going to give it back to you in a way that you're going to understand it real clearly. And I took my filter off, and I'm going to give it to you in a way that you ain't going to like it. Yeah. And then you be like, you've been holding that in. It's been holding in for a reason. It's not always to be spoken.
Right. It's not to be spoken.
My whole thing is everything of a negative spirit is not to be pulled out your mouth. My whole thing is, even though I think it don't need to be said, my whole thing is I need to uplift. I don't need to tear down. I don't need to think that I gotta belittle you to make you understand that I'm bigger than you.
Right.
I feel like a lot of times I gotta get out my feelings and realize the fact is you and yours, I don't have to get in mine. Let's stay with the facts. Okay. If we stick with the facts, we can get to a point of understanding. You might go to bed mad, but you have an understanding about how I feel and you have a way of healing.
But
some people say never go. You ain't always gonna get out of anger with an understanding. Sometimes I can agree to disagree. And this, for the fact that I agree to disagree, I can lay down to know I made my point, he made his, and at this point, I'm almost good with it. But when you mad, and you ain't hearing nothing they say, and all you're doing is giving them the business, let me tell you something. You can't really stop that person because they reckless at that point. They don't give a dang what you say, what you do, but you gonna get this, and that's where I really say, watch the tongue, watch what roll off, because at the end of the day, I heard everything.
Yeah, I heard everything.
When I replay it back, you ain't gonna like it.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the power you thought you had over me, I'm gonna play it back in a way that you really put yourself out there.
Right.
And I ain't appreciating it. I ain't appreciating none of it.
Right.
You put me in a position that I have the power because you gave it all up. You showed me your hand. And guess what? I can play too.
Yeah.
And I play to win, baby.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Understand your partner and don't be giving him things that he really don't need.
Yeah.
Because that mouth can be your detriment. It can be what's going to cause you more pain than you know.
Yeah. You cannot say things just because you're angry, because you're going to say the wrong thing. Right?
You normally do.
And that's what can most certainly make a relationship hard. Once again, is I gotta listen sometimes to somebody say something a little smart alecky to me, or somebody may try to put me down, sideways, or
that's
you
the
know,
one I hate.
yeah, or somebody, have you ever had a scenario where they'll take their plate but they won't take your plate? You know what I mean?
Like I ain't see that.
Yeah, like you ain't see that,
Like,
playing you to the left a little bit. I didn't know you was gonna be home. I'd have brought you some.
Where you thought I was gonna be? Matter of fact, I'm gonna go right there.
Right.
Now you're mad.
Right. So yeah, you gotta watch your tongue, folks. Your tongue, everything that you are thinking, you cannot say, and that's all of us. You cannot say all that you are thinking, because if you say it, you're going to upset the environment. Unless you just don't care about upsetting the environment. If you don't care about upsetting the environment, then you're going to be held accountable for what you say.
I disagree.
And okay, I'm listening. Phil disagrees.
Communication is programmed.
That's right. Go ahead,
Go
boo.
ahead, I'm listening.
It's all about programming.
Okay.
I mean, we can take it from a spiritual aspect and then we'll bring it back,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, just with a Christian, we'll start there,
Okay.
right? You're programmed that it's only one way to get to heaven.
Okay.
With mathematics, it's always more than one way to add or either subtract something.
Okay.
It's programmed. Communication is programmed.
Okay.
Once you understand how the program works, then you can work in the program.
Okay.
So communication. Your program, when someone's talking to you, the first thing you want to do is rebuttal or reply. The hardest thing about communication is getting out of the program and understanding that with communication, you have to listen to understand first.
Yes.
And then you can rebuttal and reply.
Yes.
Until you understand that, it's always going to be a wall with communication.
And how does that disagree with what I just said?
Because you said, okay, you don't want to hurt anybody, right?
Okay.
That's a problem. That's a problem that we have right now. Bullying people. Oh, don't say that you'll hurt their feelings. From the school that I came up in, I'm sorry, we had bullies. And we still have bullies. But that is the way you were able to cope.
Okay.
You're able to deal with different scenarios.
Okay.
If you take bullying away, if you say, okay, fine, I ain't gonna say anything to hurt your feelings.
And bullying happens a lot in relationships. correct?
Exactly, but that builds you up to be able to take things. Because if you just gonna say, oh, I can't say anything to hurt your feelings, oh no, we're not gonna do that, what are you breeding? What are you breeding?
Well,
What are you breeding?
when
You are breeding and you're doing what you shouldn't be doing. Because if you say something and it hurts that person, that means at that point in time, they should be able to communicate with you. You should be able to listen versus replying and understanding, okay, I said this got this reaction. So regardless if you hurt someone or not with what you say, it's about the reaction that you get and you being able to respond to that reaction.
not react.
Exactly.
Because reactions are an emotion. And that's
Exactly.
typically what happens, and that's what you get drawn into.
Exactly.
Because that's what you're used to.
Right.
That's why I said change your
Because
behavior.
that's what you want to do. You want to, as soon as you get it, you want to reply to it. No. Sit back. Listen.
Sit back.
Try to understand what it, and if you don't understand what they're saying, what do you mean? I don't
Clarify.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me
Yeah.
clarity.
Yeah, and that's that's a part of self-preservation. I gotta detach a little bit, so I'm not as attached to what they say. But when I say not to hurt their feelings, I'm saying don't push a button. Don't push my button. Don't you know what I'm saying? Why you want to push my button? You know what I mean?
I'ma tell you.
Like that's not good in a relationship. That's
It's like this right
that
here.
doesn't work
In the
a
beginning, we
relationship.
had freedom of speech.
Bullying doesn't work
No,
in a
listen,
relationship.
in the beginning, we had freedom of speech. You could say and write anything you wanted to, whether it offended someone or not.
Mhm.
And that build character. At this point in time, if you say something to offend someone, the first thing they want to do is sue you.
Right.
What kind of character? What are you building?
Right.
You're making people so soft nowadays that it's ridiculous. Like I can't. So basically, you're telling me I can't be honest. I have to sugarcoat everything I say. Why?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well,
Here's
they're
what
not.
here's
They've
what
been
I'm saying.
teaching you a lot.
Listen, here's what I'm saying, right? You come home and you expected dinner on the table. It wasn't on the table. It's normally on the table, but it wasn't on the table this night, right? You're a little frustrated. You had a bad day, and you was like, "Damn, baby, you ain't fixing no dinner." And she say something flip to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
She say something flip to you, and you were like, "Why don't you get your fat ass up off the table and get up off the couch and get something done?" Now watch this. You not only did you really say something really out of line by saying that, you said it off the top in anger, probably was thinking it, but you shouldn't have said it. Now watch this. You hurt her feelings, but you're gonna have, if you care about her, you're gonna have to face that, right? Because now her emotions, her whole self-well-being may be hurt because of what you just said. You
Because
could have
you're
said
being
it
selfish?
differently. You could have said it. You could have said it with a little
Because you're
more
being
love.
selfish.
You could have said it with a little more
Because you
compassion.
being selfish.
You could have said it with a little
Because
more.
you being selfish.
You could have said it with.
Because you being
So
selfish.
it's not okay for you to hurt people's feelings because they might be being
I'm
selfish.
just telling you what you did. You being selfish.
No, I'm not being selfish.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna say it like I'm like
you being
yeah.
selfish. You came in. You at work. You had a long day. You didn't even check to see what kind of day she had. Why she didn't cook?
Bro, what? That's my.
So you being selfish.
No, but
Now, what you are doing, what you
You're
have
changing
to do.
the subject.
No.
We're trying to make a point about how you detach and not say things that are heavily on your mind. You can't hurt her feelings. Don't say something
I'm
derogatory to hurt her
And
feelings
I'm
because
telling
it doesn't
you what
mean.
you should have did.
No,
Because
no.
you being selfish.
Okay.
You just said you came in.
Yeah.
Dinner was normally on the table.
You're changing the subject.
No, I'm not changing
We're
the
not
subject.
that's not what we're talking about.
What
We're
are
not
we
talking
talking
about the ways and means of the home and you should have had dinner. That we're not talking about. We're just talking about we're talking about any scenario.
You just
where
gave the scenario, so I'm breaking down your scenario.
you're changing the subject.
No, I'm not. It's
We're
the same
talking about
subject.
any scenario where you got flipped to her and said something you should said
And
something
I'm
out of
about to
line.
tell you what you should have did.
It could have been on any number of subjects.
Exactly. So you being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Because you came in, you was expecting dinner, you had a long day. So you go off on her.
Okay.
Slip of the tongue, whatever.
Okay.
You hurt her.
Okay.
Instead of you going off, the first thing you should have said is, how was your day? What's going on? Because it's out of the norm.
Right.
Then at that point, communication starts. You not communicating.
Okay.
You just being selfish, thinking about yourself. That's why you got in your feelings, and that's why you hurt her. Now you have to deal with the consequences of you being selfish.
Okay.
That's all it is.
And so you never said anything flipped to somebody.
All the
hell
time.
yeah.
All the time.
He's
but
still.
guess what?
So you are calling yourself selfish.
I know I'm selfish.
Oh yeah. He ain't got a problem admitting
my
that.
God.
What? What you mean? Oh my God! You didn't know?
The first thing that, look,
Let's take this
Ev-
conversation
ev-
somewhere.
no,
man.
everyone is selfish in their own right. Period, point blank. You can't tell me or show me one person that's not selfish.
But the point is to try and be less selfish.
That's the point.
That's the point of the whole
That-
thing, right? Don't
But
say
that's-
something
that's-
that's going to hurt
that-
her feelings.
That is why you constantly evolve. That's why you're constantly learning. No one's perfect. No one has all the answers. That's why no one is perfect and no one has all the answers because they're constantly evolving.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
And what I love
We're talking
about
about the flip tongue here.
and I like
Right.
it because what he did was he
It
showed
is the flip tongue.
you got your flip tongue,
But
but
you're
do
saying that's
we
who
we
you
see?
are, and yet you're defending
Well,
that I'm selfish. That in the
he
conversation.
says it's-
What's wrong with knowing me?
I mean, listen.
What's wrong with knowing me?
You say
What's wrong with knowing
I
me?
can see the speck in my brother's eyes, but I don't see the beam in my own eye.
let me break it down like this.
Go ahead.
This is what I love about
It's time to go break.
this man. We get the break. We like.
I
this.
know me, I love me. What's
Now,
wrong
if
with
he's
that?
stuck on him and that selfishness there where he's at, one of the things that I like is he also can catch when he's being that way. So again, when he walked in
Does he care?
and he goes off, but his whole thing was instead of just going off, he's seen a situation that we would normally say that's out of the norm, but how did he address it? So he is evolved because he has walked in and said exactly what you said.
Right.
He ain't tell you that part.
Right.
I can tell you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm snitching.
He never said that I was describing him.
No, yeah, you said him to a T because he's like,
circles here.
so blah blah blah. Now see, he learned from that experience that there's sometimes that you have to back up and realize I caused that. I got in my feelings because I didn't care for yours because of my bad day. I didn't think of your day. So what Phil is doing now is showing you his revolution where he was so selfish, always thinking about himself, where he finally starting to get to a point where he can start thinking about her, where I can stop being
Okay.
selfish, acting and saying things off the flip of my tongue that cause that pain.
Okay.
I can start saying things a little bit softer because now I address you as in how was you? Now remember,
Right.
she
And
can still come at him raw.
This is a
But he
perfect
gave
example.
opportunity.
This is a perfect example. But he never communicated that. What he did was
I don't
he
have
attacked
to.
me.
That's
No,
right.
I didn't
You see what I'm
attack
saying?
you.
That's
I
what he
didn't
did,
attack
right?
you.
Well, my
I
Right?
just-
He made a
have
judgment
yeah,
about
yeah.
my character based on the
hey,
story, right?
I just told you how you could handle the scenario
But you ain't
differently.
never told me that you was describing. I was describing.
Do I have
you.
to? I gotta snitch on myself?
Of course.
He don't
It's a
self-snitch.
radio show.
Why?
He don't self-snitch.
Why
Oh
I gotta
my
snitch on
God.
myself?
Man,
I
I like
kill
talking to a
myself
woman
if I
right
snitch
here.
on
Man.
Now,
Hey,
for all y'all that's on the street, this, that street credibility, listen,
Oh
don't
my
listen to
God.
that. Have self-respect first.
Self-love and self-respect first. Yes.
Because sometimes this not snitching,
I'm
can
sorry.
you make an understanding that you're not doing right while you ain't talking? My whole thing is you might not have to tell on somebody else, but please understand what the hell you doing.
How old are you, Kraft?
I'm 50.
You 50.
Yeah.
How old are you, Jay?
49.
I'm 44. You know how we got here?
How?
Self-preservation, not snitching.
Yeah. Yeah. Keeping our mouths shut, right?
I mean, hold on. No, we have talked.
What are we talking about here? I'm
Man,
trying to
this
figure out
dude
what's
done
going
went
on.
on the deep end. But one of the things we're trying to get back to is watching the tongue. And one of the things I love about your conversations is having that understanding of you might feel you're right, but you really could be wrong. And that's one of the things that Phil was trying to point out is when you went off because of the fact she didn't cook, he's just pointing out the fact that you could have took the time to find out what went on. Because your bad day made you already wondering why she didn't do her norm and you never asked.
Yeah.
By you not asking, it put her to a point where she might flip off on you just when you asked how her day was.
Yeah.
So a lot of things happen because we're not always considerate of the other person. And you know why?
Not considered
I
the other
had
person.
a bad day. Number one thing you said, I had a bad day. So sometimes I don't always have that in the forefront. That's why a lot of times, we say this before, Kraft, when I come home, I need time to digress. I need a little time to myself. Now, if you come in and you looking for the food and you didn't take that time, you're going to bring that emotions of that day. It shouldn't come home with you.
Right.
We're trying to find ways to make relationships stronger. One of them is remember a routine. If you come home, find time to be by self before you bring all that energy, because we fight every day to be successful.
Yes.
If you are black and doing anything positive in this community, in this universe, I'm telling you, you're fighting hard.
Yes.
When you get home, you don't need to fight the one you love. You gotta give time to digress so you can show her that I fought for us and we won, baby. But she will never see it if you give her the battle. So now she's battling too. She's fighting too. But y'all need to be fighting together. The whole thing about a relationship is when you fighting and she fighting and y'all ain't fighting with each other, you're fighting against each other.
Yeah.
And that's why most relationships are communicational problems, fighting, and negative energy. Because if I fight the world, I always thought I bought a home so I wouldn't have to fight at my home.
Exactly.
But when I leave my home, my shield is on and my armor is for I can win a battle. But when I come home, I'm supposed to let my shield down. Because this is the one time my woman got my back at this point. Because whatever she did, she fought too. So now I can digress. I finally got a minute to myself that I can chill out and say, you know something? Let me go love on the one that was doing love for me. And then I feel better.
Yes.
But when you come home with it, I'm sorry. There's no way in the world you can always give her the love that you want to give her when I've been fighting all day.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna end up sitting with her fighting whatever she got to say. And this is what normally happens. I had a bad day. The kids did this. And I had a bad day at work too. I had so and so giving me a bunch of lip about what he did too.
Right.
And he act retarded like the kids.
Yeah.
So now she like, oh, he grown, so you can handle that. Like, yeah, they his child. They should listen to you. So to her, it's like, oh, so our kids don't mean nothing? I'll be like, no, just like that retarded employee I got means something. He did what I needed him to do once I told him about himself. So
do you know
gotta
what
tell me
Do
about
you know
myself?
what she just asked you?
Oh, I heard what she said, but
you don't care about our kids?
Well, remember,
Come on now, you can't do that. That's that flip tongue I'm talking about.
That's with the slickness.
Yeah.
She slid it in because you
And that
mentioned somebody else.
That happens more often than
I gotta get reality, baby.
Right?
Because if you gonna change the way you
But
look
you don't
at
care
things, you
about our
gotta
kids.
see what you
Come
do.
on, baby, you know better than that. Why would you ask me a question like that? That's antagonizing, right? That's
Exactly.
an antagonistic attitude. That's an antagonistic
Most
question.
relationships get it.
Listen, and that's what makes a relationship so hard because you cannot be antagonistic. It is. I have
I've
to
seen
say,
some men
it
do it.
is a lot. Women, it happens
I've
a
seen
lot.
some men do
That's
it.
that tongue, that's
That's
that
a
mouth.
female trait.
You are not helping the situation
Didn't I
by
just say
doing something like
I had
that.
an employee act like that crap too? I played both sides on that one.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I just want to take a moment to
What we
thank
got?
all of our guests tonight.
Who we got?
We got so many of them. They rolled off the screen. There's Teresa, Patricia. Go up for me right there, man. We got some commentaries. I think that's Kalilia, Preston, Sheikah, Sherman, Valerie. Thank you all so much for being with us
I got
tonight.
them texting me. I got Teresa.
Yeah, your
down there in
presence
Columbus,
means a lot,
texting.
and continue to watch us. You know, we're just really grateful for you being with us. And this is a good topic because what we're discovering is that even if the other person may be a problem, a fire starter, or a problem causer, I still can't contribute to anything that's going to tear down the relationship. Such as I can't be a smart aleck mouth, right? I can't come home with a bad attitude right away from work, right? When I listen, I got to listen to her wholeheartedly and hear and understand. I got to be patient. If you are in a relationship that seems hard, perhaps one of these 2 or 3 tools just might be something that can help you get to the next level, that can help you sustain for a little more time. It ultimately is going to come down to self-control. Right? The hardness of a relationship comes down to self-control, because if you can allow yourself to find some peace, no matter what discussion that you're having, find some peace in your heart that, hey, we having a major disagreement, but this is going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go and have a great dinner tonight, or we're going to go out this weekend, and, we're going to go ahead and have it out. And at the end of the discussion, you got to find even though you may have said some challenging things, you got to find a way to go and put your arms around her, or go and put your arms around him. You may not be able to, it ain't going to come together. He's not going to stop being mad. She's not going to stop being mad. But to show some form of love right there might just eliminate some of the negative energy that's going to go forward, right? And I know on several occasions I've had heated discussions with someone, and I find a way. Sometimes I bite my tongue. Sometimes I just realize later on they just want to be heard, and I wasn't willing to listen, and they said something, and I need to let them know that what they said was important, and that I heard it, and I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I need you to know that I understand it, right? But I'm taking it into account, and that's what people really want. They want to be heard, and they want to be understood, first and foremost. And if you are in a relationship that seems hard or that is hard, you gotta assess, is this person willing to listen to me? Is this person willing to let things go? Is this person have to always have it their way? When you make some of those assessments, you'll determine if you can work with that. Because I just don't think relationships have to be hard.
They don't.
I don't believe that they have to be hard. I believe that knuckleheads make relationship hard. The relationship that I have with my best friend, if my type boy, if I say I don't like something, he'd be like, all right, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Now he ain't like my lady, but it's like whatever I say he'll accept, and whatever he says I'll accept. And when it's iron sharpens iron, I'm like, okay, this is my boy talking to me. You know what I'm saying? He just trying to tighten me up. He trying to get me straight. You know what I'm saying? I might not necessarily even identify with what he's telling me, but it's coming from my type boy, right? I have the affection first, and then I can hear the message. And so, these are skill sets that we all need to practice a little bit more.
Let me help you with your practice. There's understanding people where me and Phil didn't see eye to eye. When I met Phil, he was a cat. He was over there meowing, meow. He went through something that I thought Bam should have never brought him home. But later on, I prejudged him because of what he was crying and going through.
All right.
But I didn't understand him at that time.
Right.
Okay? But let me tell you something. You don't always have to be on a person's level to realize people are different. But my whole thing is stop being judgmental. When I stopped judging, I started realizing he had value. He had great value. But my whole thing was sometimes we don't really understand a person because we done made a quick assumption, and then all of a sudden you realize when you having conversation and you stop judging and start listening that person is not the person that you really thought. And I made that bad decision a long time ago and I stopped doing it. But me and Phil was able to talk about it, and he was like, well, I ain't like your ass either. We don't have to like one another to have respect for one another.
And that's the key, and I was just going to say that. The reason that you say it's iron sharpening iron is not that it's because he's your boy, and it could be anybody, but it's about a mutual respect.
Right.
The reason that, some relationships go awry and some relationships are hard is because there's not a mutual respect.
There's not a mutual respect. That's
it's
major.
a lot of lack of respect. And the thing is like, you respect your boy, you
Right.
respect what he says,
Right.
and the same for you.
Right.
So regardless of what comes across, how it feels, it doesn't make a difference if he's slick of the tongue or not.
Right.
You respect him.
I respect him. Yeah. And so what's happening in a lot of these hard relationships is respect has been lost.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you one thing about it. You can regain it. Because I've been through relationships that went awry. They walked away. I ain't had nothing negative really to say. My whole thing is respect. You might not always get along. Respect that it happens, right? But to me, when they walk away, I shouldn't have to show disrespect on the bad things that he did, knowing that it was a collaboration. If she talks to me, I'm gonna talk to her because one of the things about it, you loved her, I love her. Because our love is because we're unified and we have respect. You might have lost yours because you're mad, but I promise you, you mad, you angry because you love.
Yeah.
Get past that and you'll understand why I stay neutral. I don't have to get and ride with you because you're my boy. We can look differently and still respect each other. I don't have to agree everything with you. When somebody's wrong, the biggest problem is you want somebody to be on your side. Your ass could be dead wrong. And I want somebody to tell me when I'm dead wrong, because I can't change if you just ride with me. Man, you my boy. You got this going on. Man, yeah, she just wrong. Don't feed me. Don't ride a coattail. Yeah. Be my boy and be that hard dude to be like, you know something, you might not like what I got to say, but this is how I feel. At that point, I have nothing but to sit back and listen. Yeah. And I might not want to hear, I might want to rebuke everything that you said, but I'm going to take the time to hear it. Growth happens when I take that and I walk away and I sit by my damn self instead of sitting with somebody else trying to glorify my badass behavior. Yes. Because that's a bad habit that we all somewhat had. And if everybody didn't, I'm glad you did. There you go. I had it, but I want to get better. Right. And if I'm giving you my bad trait, I just want you to see some of yours to make the relationship stronger and better. I'm not perfect. I was far from it. Yeah. But I had great friends. Right. Phil's one of them. Craftmatic is another one. And I can keep on naming. Strong people tend to understand it's a struggle. We know how to press and make a diamond. Are you worth pressing on? Yeah. Because I promise you, we can pop half the folks that we talk about if we give it to them. Because our tone will destroy. We ain't trying to destroy. We're trying to make something valuable. There you go. Out of something that's precious. There you go. Can you roll with us? There you go. If you can, Bar Talk with Jay is there for you. Yeah. We only have a couple of minutes left before it's time to close out. As you all know who've been following the show, that my belief is that if you have a very difficult or challenging or hard relationship going on, there's nothing more effective than real prayer. And sometimes in your prayer, you got to ask for the reasons why it's going on. Maybe the Lord will reveal something about yourself. Sometimes you might need to ask if he can just bring healing and resolution to the things that you have issues with. Sometimes you may need to ask him to help the two of you compromise or bring loyalty amongst one another. Or maybe you need to ask him to help you re-energize your respect for that person in your life. But you're going to be hard-pressed to fix any of this stuff all by yourself. Unless you are kind of a superhuman, and it's the only way you're gonna get by alone. It is important that you take these particular qualities into play. These are the things that are more important in a relationship than love. Trust, honesty, respect, communication, loyalty, and most importantly, compromise. Totally agree. And for all the ones that have different, because Phil over here is Buddha. For all the ones that have different religions and feel differently, my second thing would be, if you ain't praying, please take time to yourself. A lot of times when you say things, you need to remember what you said and to self-evaluate. And then you need to self-evaluate the intel that was brought to you. Because a lot of times when you're not praying, please take time to yourself, because you are filtering a lot of information. Research it and understand that you make the difference when you make an effort. Right. I can't make a diamond out of mud. Right. Understand, it's a piece of coal that's pressed that can make a diamond, right? Mm-hmm. So why are you pressing on mud? Why are you pressing on something that's not going to get you a result of what you want? Because you're not paying attention. Because you're too busy being mad. And you feel like you want to give it to something other than what you really want. I want to make something good happen. My anger, I want to release. Yeah. It's not for me to hold, but you got to have understanding. Yeah. What we got over there, Booty?
You got some? We got 2 minutes or less.
We give it to you.
I think D should be number one. Communication is number one, because if you have communication, you can build on trust, honesty, respect, loyalty, happiness, and compromise.
If you got communication.
If you got communication. If you don't have communication, you can't have none of that stuff.
But and I believe that communication requires the utmost self-restraint, so that you can listen.
No, it doesn't. That's how you reach trust, honesty, respect, loyalty, happiness, and compromise. When you can openly communicate.
Right.
If you can't openly communicate, you're holding something back.
Okay.
Now, to me, this is how we agree to disagree. It's not about how we just feel. It's about how this affects you.
How it affects you.
One of the things
That's
that I
absolutely right.
love about this show is about replaying it at your leisure to understand where you're at to make the best you. We are giving ourselves, we putting our personal stuff out there because we care. I don't see it nowhere else. And because I didn't see it anywhere else, and we've been doing men's meetings and we've been trying to gravitate and grab positive vibes, that we want to give it back to you.
Yes.
If you feel it, you like it, share it, give it to somebody else. We got a YouTube channel. Go to YouTube.
Subscribe.
And again, definitely subscribe, please. You can keep playing it. And again, at any point that you like something, stop it, do it, understand it. And my whole thing is share it. Because if you like it, you share it, we can get out there to a point where we can be back whole. Relationships and family is first. And I really feel like that's what we need to get back to. Let's attack it one by one, a person by a person, understanding yourself, loving yourself, and let's make change to this game.
And we thank you for being here tonight. This is Bar Talk with Jay. I'm Craftmatic. This is Smooth Jay. We got Phil in the house.
Buddha.
We got Rock on the boards. We got Boo behind the screen.
Got my other son, my youngest son, John.
Yeah.
John coming soon.
John
John got
coming
some
in.
different stuff coming up for the young ladies. Yeah, he doing big things.
We
right
want to
there.
thank Barb and Jamal and the good Reverend Dr. Jeffrey tonight. And with that being said, folks, we love you. We appreciate you.
And we
are out.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.